One of the things I remember is that I was called over here by the administration to kind of line up where we wanted our fields, and we wanted 3 fields for varsity, sophomores, freshmen. But came over here, we had everything already outlined, and I show up for the first day of school, and hardly anything was like
like you said.
set it up. And we had a big old backstop out here, and it was right in the middle of some buildings, and I mean, it turned out all right, and not much of infields were marked out, and we practiced a lot on dirt or parking lot and things like that. So we didn't have indoor cages or anything like that, and we did go in the gym once in a while. We tried to do a few things in the gym, but if it snowed a lot and the custodians got out there in the parking lot and they pushed the snow back, we always saved the baseballs that had no cover, and we used those as parking lot balls. And we would go out there and we'd hit. I mean, I just thought the kids would be complaining about practicing in the cold weather and the snow and that type of thing, but they just had a great time even in the snow. I remember we would wind up with string all over the parking lot, and those little balls. Yeah, what should we do with this ball, Coach? I said, well, we can still use it. But it was a blast. We had a lot of great memories there. We started the year, we didn't have uniforms. The uniforms were ordered a little bit late, and we look at this, and I'm thinking, our first uniform, we had Belleville East and that number on the back. But I mean, it was great. We had great kids, and we really had a good team. We had good athletes. We had a good coaching staff. Jack Burke, Lauren Fink, Jim Belkel, Dennis Bechtel coached some, and then Dennis became the athletic director, and it was really helpful to have him for athletic director. So ultimately, things worked out pretty well. They were great years. And I was sharing earlier that one of the teams we took up there, we actually lost our first 11 games, and well, we usually said a prayer before the game, and one of the boys came up to me and he said, maybe we ought to stop praying.
You can say who it is. It's okay. You can say.
It was Doug McCrary. And
then you went to the state tournament.
Yeah,
So
we did. I said, well, do you think it's God's fault? He said no. So we kept on praying, and we won the city tournament. At that time, they had a city tournament. That was when St. Henry still had a school and a baseball team. We won the city tournament, and just something sparked in that particular group, and we went through the rest of the year. Those kids didn't think we could lose, and by golly, we didn't. We didn't lose. We got to state, and it seems to me like it was Doug McCrary that came to my room the night before we were to play, and he said, Coach, can we pray? And so we got together and we prayed, and we went out the next day and got the tar beat out of us.
Tell me the one person up there said.
Which was all right, but then it was kind of funny that a scout came down and he told me that that's the worst team he's ever seen in the state tournament. And I can remember there was a reporter said, what do you think about when one of your boys comes to bat? And I say, well, I pray that he hits it hard and right at it. But I remember in a regional game that we played West. I think it was for the championship of the region. This might have been 91, 92, I'm not exactly sure the date. And my son Luke was catcher for West, and he threw out 3 attempted steals, picked a guy off of first base, hit the game-tying double, and then they had a designated runner for him, and that runner scored the winning run. And at the end of the game, when you go across the field, it's a good game, good game, good game, good game. I mean, he had the biggest grin on his face, and I said, Luke, that was a good game, but don't expect supper.
I took over for Larry Patton, and I had a lot of reservations because it was taking over for a legend, but the chance to coach my two sons was enough to make me take the job, and I got to coach 7 years. Great experience, great kids. We had a lot of success. Some names that stick out are Jim Pecoraro, which I should have stolen from Blomberg, but he petitioned to keep him down to the sophomore level. Win about 20 games while we were struggling up on the varsity, so that was funny that first year.
That was hilarious.
And then I had some great teams later on that always battled Evansville to see who was going to state. Dante Brinkley, Lewis Beatty, Andy Schutzenhofer. So great teams, and I only coached 7 years. I planned on coaching a lot more, but my son had a little success in college. I wanted to see him, so
A
little success.
so same as all the others. Great kids, great place to teach and coach. Dennis Bechtold was great as an athletic director. Just go up and ask for something and you'd probably get it. So
First year, actually, when I came up to interview for the teaching job here, I was kind of nervous and excited because I thought I was going to get to coach with Coach Patton, and I get up here and I heard he's retiring with Coach Burke, and all my coaches are retiring. So then, turns out that Coach Schutz got the job, and I was hired as his underclass coach, his sophomore coach, and that was awesome. That was a great experience. I mean, I'd never coached, and to be able to learn under Coach Schutz was invaluable. I mean, it shapes you for, you try to be a combination of all the people that coached you and all the people you coach under, and I hope that it worked out for me.
he was the best at stealing signs. He could steal signs with the best of them. It was great.
Now it's hard to do with the dang wristbands.
We won a regional because of him. We did.
I was the coach for 15 years, and every day I just thought it was a blessing knowing where the program started and came from and how it was built. And my goal was not to screw it up. That's kind of the feeling you have every day is just don't mess it up. Don't mess it up. Keep it on the road. Don't go off into the ditch. And I'll say the same thing. I think probably the best thing, the best thing about coaching 15 years are the players. The relationships with the players, and I echo what those two guys said. Just great kids. Names pop into your head all the time, and you wonder how they're doing, or you see them, and it's like you haven't been separated. The biggest change, I guess I would say for me, is I was thinking back to our teams when I played for Coach Patton, and I know I was thinking of Coach Schutz's best teams. The thing I think it's really kind of that Coach Wiggs has to deal with a lot more than us is the specialization of kids. They just play one sport now. I think on the teams, we went to state 3 years in a row, and I think 6 or 7 starters played 2 sports. Your best teams, your sons played football, and we had all kinds of guys playing different sports. And it's just hard to see that. It stinks. That's where it is right now, but unfortunately, that's where it is.
Remember this, the first time I was a freshman, we were taking BP, and Coach Blom came out. I knew exactly who he was. I'm like, oh my gosh, please don't swing and miss. Please don't swing and miss. So the first pitch, I swing about, no joke, about this hard. And I make contact. And then Coach Blom yells from Booker, holy bat speed! And I stepped right out of the cage. I was so embarrassed. And Steve Summer was throwing. He was like, swing harder next time. And I was like, I just wanted to hit the ball. So when I was a sophomore, I thought I had a chance to play varsity. And we were lifting in the weight room in the fall and winter. And one of my teammates, Jake Callahan, was talking about his new girl. You probably don't remember this. Talking about his new girlfriend. He's like, yeah, she's a really smart, coach. And he's like, she's not too baseball smart. And Coach Blom's like, well, that's not okay. He said, if you have a girlfriend and she can't explain the infield fly rule, you need to keep looking. So I immediately drive home that night. I'm with my girlfriend that night. I'm like, here, listen, here's the infield fly rule. I said, if you ever see Mr. Blomberg on campus and he asks you what the infield fly rule is, here's what it is. So I explained it to her, and she's like, I'm not going to remember that. And I'm like, doesn't matter. Just act like you know what you're talking about. Well, it's funny that everyone was sitting on it. We all talk about how it's a big Lancer family. Coach Schutzenhofer I've been getting pointers from him since I was 5 years old. Coach Blom was my head coach. Unfortunately, Coach Patton was involved with a negative thing with, I lost a teammate of mine when I was a junior, Chad Wood, and Coach Patton was great. Unfortunately, it was a negative circumstance, but he came in and led us in prayer and just talking about our feelings and all that stuff, which was a huge help to me at that time. A bunch of high school kids losing one of their friends and teammates is a hard thing to go through, and he helped me through that.
Well, in your junior year after Chad passed away, am I remembering right that the next game?
Next game was right here.
It was a
Played
dramatic
Granite
home
City.
run.
Yep, Al Steiner with maybe the most dramatic home run in school history. Out of a movie. 0-2 count, bottom of the seventh, 5-4. Hits one over the right field fence. Everyone goes crazy, and we win in extra innings. And actually, Jesse Hill, one of his best friends, gets the game-winning hit, which is, again, the script right out of that movie. It was amazing. I mean, we had more students at that game probably.
Yeah.
News trucks, were here. And then Bruce Perkins, old assistant principal, now assistant coach. He gave everyone's going crazy with emotions at Chad's funeral because he gave his eulogy. And one of the quotes was, Al Steiner at the plate with Chad Wood sitting squarely on his shoulders, and he hits a home run to tie the game, and everyone's just like. All three of these guys have been coaches at the state tournament, so no pressure, but eventually we got to get there, I guess.